From powering 3D TVs to the latest Apple laptop, chipmaker NVIDIA is a growing threat to its competitors. NVIDIA's Dan Vivoli sits down with our reporters, plus texting relief, the revolution in the way charities move money to those most in need. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott McGrew. One of our reporters on the show tells the story of a young woman he knows who was so concerned about what was going on in Haiti after the earthquake. She encouraged all of her friends to text that $10 donation on their cell phones, claiming she had texted the word Haiti hundreds of times, over and over and over, not realizing perhaps how the whole thing works. We don't know exactly what happened to that young woman, but we'd have to imagine her cell phone bill was pretty big. You no doubt saw the commercials yourself.
We can help the American Red Cross as it delivers the food, water, and medicine that can save lives.
Text Haiti to a certain number, and a $10 donation would be charged to your cell phone bill, the money sent to Haiti Relief through various charities. Aside from a few misunderstandings, the whole effort was a giant success. More than $50 million raised through text donations alone. There are text campaigns for the Red Cross, for Salvation Army, for Children's Miracle Network, all making money at a time in which most charities are seeing a decline in contributions. And Doug Plank is CEO of Mobile Cause. He's joined by my colleagues, Laura Seidel of NPR, Kim McNicholas of Forbes. Now, I joke about this young woman. She's real. I mean, it's the true story. There's a safety net built in there Absolutely. At some point where you cannot put yourself in the poorhouse texting Haiti or whatever word off to...
Yeah, in fact, the limit is $30. So
enough.
If she did a $10 donation, you limit it to 3 times. But I love her spirit.
Yeah, she misunderstood. You know, she said, "This is fantastic. Someone is donating $10 every time I text."
Think about who that happened to be.
And it was you. Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe you could explain a little about how this actually works. Who gets the money, where it goes? I've had people say to me about a lot of this, like, is this a fraud? Are these for real? You know, how does it all work?
And do the telecom companies get a cut?
That's a lot of what I hear too.
Well, let me begin with a real big compliment to the carriers. Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile, they pass 100 cents on the dollar to the nonprofits. They're not making money on this. That's a big, big statement for helping their customers express themselves in ways that they care and want to help.
Well,
I think that's great.
They are in a sense, because if you have a limited number of texts, I mean, they're making per text.
Sure, but most people have unlimited texting.
Right.
I mean, it really is. It's a considerable amount that they're passing through. Here's how it works. When you make your text donation, you text the word Haiti to 85944, and it's a $10 amount. It shows up on your phone bill. Once you pay that, the carrier then sends that money either through an aggregator or through a foundation directly 100 cents on the dollar to the nonprofit. It can take up to 60 days. But in the situation of Haiti, because it was such a significant disaster, and they wanted to get the money there quickly, starting with Verizon and the other carriers, they sent the money within a couple weeks.
Well, and with the Red Cross, they had the funds in which they could say, you know what, we are going to have X number of million come in for Haiti. We can take these funds over here and immediately disperse them.
Well, and what we found out at Mobile Cause, we're the largest provider of this. We've got more nonprofit clients than any other provider of this kind of technology. And what we have found is that the remittance rate, the people who intend to make that donation and then challenge it, is under 1/2%. So
which is far less than credit card companies.
Absolutely. So the carriers know that, you know, 99.6% of the money is going to be there anyway.
One of the things I heard, too, is that they're getting donations from people who wouldn't otherwise donate in this instance. Because it's so easy. You're getting
so easy.
Yeah.
And it's a small entry level. And if you think about it, I've mentioned that for me, I think this becomes the democratization of philanthropy for this reason. There's over 50 million people in our country who don't have a checkbook and don't have a credit card. And yet they have the same heart as the rest of us who maybe have credit cards and checkbooks, and they want to participate in something like Haiti or the local run walk for their school or something for their church or their temple. And this provides that opportunity.
It is curious. The smaller the charity gets, the more local, the more simple the charity is, the harder it is in many ways to donate money to it on the fly. You go to their website, you say, and I got to mail a check, I suppose.
Or
I was only going to get
credit card
$5, or if you're lucky, your credit card number,
Right.
because some of them aren't even set up to do that.
And a lot of people are uncomfortable with putting their credit card numbers out there
Sure.
these days, especially online. So this limits the number of people that are getting a hold of your credit card, in a sense.
Absolutely, and it's secure. The nonprofits are vetted by us and the carriers, so you can be confident that the money is going to go to the intended party.
Now, I went to your website, and I did, in fact, see that, you know, as much as a church, you had churches who were literally using this, like just a small church, and that it's essentially a fee for a certain number of these. This is how it works for you.
Yeah,
what's the business model?
So the 100% on the dollar goes from the carrier to the nonprofit. We have a platform that actually has 5 services. Fundraising is one of those services. It's like mobile CRM. So we have one of the leading software programs that's been recognized by Always On Media as one of the top 100 companies in the U.S. That software system, we charge a monthly fee of $99 to $250, depending on what the client wants to use. And then separately, we'll charge a 50-cent transaction for typically a $10 gift, so it's under 5%. I've got over 30 years of fundraising experience. I've helped raise over $500 million. I'm very conscious of the need to keep the cost, the actual eventual cost for the nonprofit, below 10%.
So just so I'm getting the math right, I donate $10 to whatever, Children's Miracle Network, whatever. You're keeping the 50 cents of that $10.
Well, what happens is, because we're bound to have that 100 cents on the dollar from the carrier, what you pay your phone bill, that $10 actually shows up in the nonprofit. We invoice them separately after the fact.
I see.
Keep in mind, our service is more than just fundraising. They do CRM management. They have polling. They do text.
I always jump in to those who don't speak technical speak.
I'm sorry.
CRM, customer resource management.
Yeah, customer relationship management. And in nonprofits, the idea of building your list, managing that list, communicating to them is very important. They pay money just to do that, let alone raise funds. But all of our services cost them under 5% of raising.
I'm just a little. I just want to make sure, who is being charged that 50 cents? Is it me or is it the nonprofit?
The nonprofit.
They're being charged 50 cents to raise $10.
Right.
So, for example, American Idol, or Idol Gives Back, and I know you were recently there for the big Idol Gives Back. 50 cents is charged to Idol Gives Back.
Well, actually, no. Idol Gives Back gets a really good deal because of their volume.
Publicity,
yeah. And so, you know, when you have some of these national disasters and these huge national, international fundraisers, all of us, the carriers and the rest of us, come in and you end up having pennies on the dollar for a cost associated with that. So Idol Gives Back is actually less than that.
And it's free advertising for you.
And it's free advertising for everyone who participates.
And it is the first time we've ever had somebody from American Idol. Time for one quick more question there, Laura.
Well, I was going to say, with this, you get information from these people. And I did notice, and I started to wonder, what about, are you going to start sending text, or these nonprofits going to start sending texts to me, which I may not want, actually. I may want to give my money, and that's it. I don't want to get mail. I don't want to get texts.
Here's what's great about MobileCause and also the carriers is that you have to double opt in to be a part of the list. There's a significant influence to make sure that there isn't spam like you have with email. Texting is so far outpacing email, we don't want to interrupt that. So to have that opportunity to communicate, if I'm the nonprofit, I have to ask your permission. You double opt in that you'd like to be a part of that list and get that communication from us.
Through the website, through the text, through the
text.
Okay.
But it's an opt-in.
It's an opt-in.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Very good.
It's an opt-in.
Doug Plank, American Idol star and MobileCause CEO. I know. Well, good enough. Good enough. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Up next on Press here, a fight between chip makers over who will power your next computer. Even the government is taking sides. We'll be back in a moment.